Genesis chapter 31. Flights from Laban. Jacob learned that the sons of Laban were saying, Jacob has taken everything our father owned, and it is at our father's expense that he has accumulated this fortune. Jacob understood from Laban's expression that his attitude towards him was no longer the same. Then the Lord said to Jacob, Go back to the land of your ancestors, your homeland. I will be with you. Jacob had Rachel and Leah called to the field where his flocks were. There he said to them, I see that your father no longer looks kindly on me, but the God of my father has been with me. You yourselves know that I have served your father with all my strength, but your father has deceived me, changing my wages 10 times, but God has not allowed him to do me harm. Whenever he said, The spotted ones will be your wages, then all the ewes had spotted lambs. And whenever he said, The streaked ones will be your wages, then all the ewes produced streaked lambs. It is God who has taken your father's livestock in that way and has given it to me. For in the breeding season when I was looking up, I saw in a dream that the rams mating with the ewes were streaked, spotted or speckled. And the angel of God in the dream said to me, Jacob, here I am, I replied. He then said, Look up and see that all the rams mating with the ewes are streaked, spotted or speckled. I have seen all that Laban has done to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a memorial stone and vowed to me by oath. Now get ready, leave this country and return to the land of your birth. Then Rachel and Leah replied, Have we still any share in the inheritance of our father's estate? Have we not been regarded by him as foreigners, since he has sold us out and truly used up our money? Surely all the fortune that God has taken from our father belongs to us and to our children. So do then all that God has told you. So Jacob got ready and put his children and his wives on camels. He also took with him all his livestock and all that he had accumulated, the livestock he had acquired at Paddan Aram, to return to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan. While Laban was shearing his sheep, Rachel took advantage and took her father's family idols. Jacob tricked Laban the Aramean in not letting him know he was running away. He fled with all he had, and after crossing the Euphrates, he headed for Mount Gilead. Laban pursues Jacob. 3 days later, Laban heard that Jacob had fled. Taking his brothers with him, he followed Jacob for 7 days and caught up with him on Mount Gilead. God appeared to Laban the Aramean in a dream at night and said to him, Be careful not to say anything, either good or bad, to Jacob. Jacob had pitched his tent on Mount Gilead when Laban overtook him. Laban and his brothers also encamped on Mount Gilead. Then Laban said to Jacob, What have you done, tricking me and carrying my daughters off like prisoners of war? Why did you run away secretly and cheat me? Why did you not tell me? I could have sent you off with joy and singing to the music of tambourine and harp. You did not even let me kiss my grandchildren and daughters goodbye. You have done a foolish thing, and I have power to harm you. But last night the God of your father warned me, saying, Be careful not to say anything, either good or bad, to Jacob. Now if you have indeed gone out because you were sorely longing for your father's house, why did you steal my idols? Jacob replied to Laban, It was because I was afraid you would take your daughters from me by force. But whoever is found in possession of your idols will not live. In the presence of our kinsmen, see for yourself if anything that belongs to you is here with me, and if so, take it. Now Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen the idols. Laban entered Jacob's tent, then Leah's, and then the tent of the 2 maidservants, but he found nothing. When Laban came out of Leah's tent, he entered the tent of Rachel. Rachel had taken the idols, but had put them into the camel's saddle, and was sitting on them. Laban felt all about the tent, but did not find them. Rachel said to her father, Do not be angry with me, my Lord, if I do not stand in your presence, for I am having my period." So he searched but did not find the idols. Then Jacob became angry and rebuked Laban. "What is my crime?" he asked. "What sin of mine makes you hound me down? Now that you have searched through all my belongings, have you found anything that belongs to your household? If so, let it be seen here in the presence of your kinsmen and mine, and let them judge between the two of us. During the 20 years I have been your ewes and your she-goats have not miscarried, and I have not eaten any of the rams from your flocks. I have not brought you any animal torn by a wild beast. I suffered the loss, and you demanded payment from me for whatever was stolen by day or night. During the day I have been stifled by the heat, and at night I have suffered from the cold, and sleep has left my eyes. It is 20 years that I have been with you. I worked 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for your flocks, and 10 times you have changed my wages. If the God of my father Abraham and the fearsome God of Isaac had not been with me, you would have sent me away empty-handed. But God has seen my hardship and the toil of my hands, and last night he passed sentence." A treaty. Laban answered and said to Jacob, "The daughters are my daughters, the children are my children. These sheep are my sheep, and all that you see are mine. What can I do today about these daughters of mine or their children? Come now, let us make a treaty, you and me, and let it be a witness between us." Jacob took a stone and set it up as a memorial. He then said to his kinsmen, "Collect stones." So they gathered stones and piled them up, and they had a meal there by the pile. Laban called it Jegar-sahadutha, and Jacob called it Gilead. Laban said, "This pile of stones is a witness between you and me today." That is why it was called Gilead. And it was also known as Mizpah, because Laban had said, "May the Lord watch between me and you when we are no longer in sight of each other. If you harm my daughters or take other wives besides my daughters, even though no man is with us, remember that God is witness between you and me." Then Laban said to Jacob, "Here is the pile and the memorial which I have set between you and me. This pile and this memorial will witness that I will not pass beyond this pile to harm you, and that you will not pass beyond this pile and memorial to harm me. May the God of Abraham and the God of Nahor judge between us." So Jacob swore by the fearsome God of his father Isaac. Jacob also offered a sacrifice on the mountain and invited his relatives to the meal. After they had eaten, they spent the night on the mountain. Genesis chapter 32. Jacob prepares to meet Esau. Next morning Laban rose up early, and after kissing his grandchildren and daughters, he blessed them and returned to his home. As for Jacob, he went on his way, and angels of God met him. On seeing them, Jacob exclaimed, "This is God's camp," and he named the place Mahanaim. And going on his way, he sent messengers ahead of him to his brother Esau in the land of Seir, the country of Edom. Jacob sent Esau this message, "Thus says your servant Jacob, I have been staying with Laban until now. I have oxen, asses, flocks, men servants and maid servants. I have sent to tell you this, my lord, that you may receive me kindly." The messengers returned and said to Jacob, "We went to your brother Esau, and he is already coming to meet you with 400 men." Jacob was full of fear and distressed. He then divided the people with him and the flocks, the herds and camels into 2 camps, thinking, if Esau attacks one camp, the other will escape. And Jacob said, "O God of my father Abraham and of my father Isaac, O Lord, who said to me, 'Return to your country, to your relatives, and I will make you prosper,' I am unworthy of the kindness and faithfulness you have shown to your servant, For with only my staff I crossed the Jordan, and now I have enough to form 2 companies. Deliver me from the hands of my brother Esau, for I am afraid of him. He may come and kill us all, even the mothers and their children. Yet it was you who said, I will be good to you and make your descendants like the sand on the seashore, so many that they cannot be counted. So Jacob spent the night there. Then he took from what he had with him a present for his brother Esau, 200 she-goats and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 camels in milk and their calves, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 she-asses and 10 male donkeys. He put them in the care of his servants, each herd by itself, and said to his servants, Go ahead of me and leave a space between each herd. He instructed the leader, When my brother Esau meets you and asks, To whom do you belong and where are you going? Who is the owner of the animals you are driving? Then you shall say, They belong to your servant Jacob. It is a present he is sending to my lord Esau. He himself is coming along behind us. Jacob ordered the second and third servants and all who were following the herds in the same way. This is what you shall say to Esau when you meet him. Your servant Jacob is following, for he thought to himself, I may pacify him with the present I sent ahead, so that when I meet him face to face, he may perhaps receive me kindly. So the present went ahead of him while he himself spent that night in the camp. Jacob wrestles with God. That same night Jacob got up, and taking his 2 wives, his 2 maidservants, and his 11 sons, crossed the ford of the Jabbok. He took them and sent them across the stream, and likewise everything he had, and Jacob was left alone. Then someone wrestled with him until daybreak. When he saw that he could not get the better of Jacob, he struck him in the socket of his hip, and dislocated it as he wrestled with him. Then he said, Let me go, for day is breaking. But Jacob said, I will not let you go until you have given me your blessing. He then said, What is your name? Jacob was the reply. He answered, You will no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men and have prevailed. Then Jacob asked him, What is your name? He answered, Why do you ask my name? And he blessed him there. So Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, I have seen God face to face and survived. The sun rose as he passed through Peniel, limping because of his hip. That is why to this day the Israelites do not eat the sciatic nerve which is in the hip socket, because the sciatic nerve in Jacob's hip had been struck. Psalm chapter 16. The Lord is my heritage. Keep me safe, O God, for in you I take refuge. I say to the Lord, You are my Lord. Apart from you I have no happiness. The gods of the earth are but nothing. Cursed be those who delight in them. Those who run after foreign gods only have their sorrows multiplied. Never shall I pour out libations to them, nor let their names be heard on my lips. The Lord is my heritage and my cup. It is you who hold my lot secure. The measuring lines have marked out for me pleasant places. My inheritance is indeed lovely. I bless the Lord who is my counselor. Even at night my inmost self guides me. I keep the Lord always before me, for with me at my right hand I will never be shaken. My heart therefore exults, my soul rejoices, my body too will rest secure. For you will not abandon my soul to the underworld, nor will you allow your Holy One to see decay. You will show me the path of life, fullness of joy in your presence, at your right hand, happiness forever. Matthew chapter 11. Jesus and John the Baptist. When Jesus had finished giving his 12 disciples these instructions, he went on from there to teach and to proclaim his message in their towns. When John the Baptist heard in prison about the activities of Christ, he sent his disciples to ask him, "Are you the one who is to come, or should we expect someone else?" Jesus answered them, "Go back and report to John what you hear and see. The blind see, the lame walk, lepers are made clean, the deaf hear, the dead are brought back to life, and good news is preached to the poor. And blessed is the one who does not take offense at me." As the messengers left, Jesus began to speak to the crowds about John. "When you went out to the desert, what did you expect to see? A reed swayed by the wind. What did you go out to see? A man dressed up in fine clothes. People who wear fine clothes live in palaces. What did you really go out to see? A prophet, yes, indeed, and even more than a prophet. He is the man of whom Scripture says, 'I send my messenger ahead of you to prepare the way before you.' I tell you this, never has anyone greater than John the Baptist appeared, and yet the least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. For the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has been subjected to violence, and violent people carried away. The time of the prophets and the law extends up to John, and if you accept their message, John is this Elijah whose coming was predicted. If anyone has ears to hear, let him listen. Now to what can I compare the people of today? They are like children sitting in the marketplace, with some complaining to others. 'We played the flute for you, but you would not dance. We sang funeral songs, but you would not cry.' The same way John came fasting and said, 'He is possessed.' Then the Son of Man came. He ate and drank, and the people said, 'Look at this man, a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of publicans and sinners.' Yet the wisdom of God has been proved right by her deeds." Then Jesus started to denounce the cities in which he had performed most of his miracles, because the people there did not change their ways. "Alas for you, Chorazin and Bethsaida! If the miracles worked in you had taken place in Tyre and Sidon, the people there would have repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. But I assure you, it will be more bearable for Tyre and Sidon on the day of judgment than for you. And you, Capernaum, will you be lifted up to heaven? You will be thrown down to hell. For if the miracles which were performed in you had taken place in Sodom, it will still be standing today. But I tell you, it will be more bearable for Sodom on the day of judgment than for you. Come to me and rest." On that occasion, Jesus said, "Father, Lord of heaven and earth, I praise you, because you have hidden things from the wise and the learned and revealed them to little ones. Yes, Father, this is what you wished to do. Everything has been entrusted to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and those to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. Come to me, all of you who work hard and who carry heavy burdens, and I will refresh you. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble of heart, and you will find rest. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light."